was Job, the patriarch. Not only did he think on his own ways, he thought on his children's ways. He thought this when his young boys and girls was out having their parties. He said, peradventure they might have sinned, and I'll offer a burnt offering for them anyhow. He thought on his children's ways. I'm telling you, if more American mothers and fathers would think on their children's ways instead of sending them out to these rock and roll parties and dances and shindigs, there'd be a better nation. Job said, if they have sinned, I'll offer an offering for them. And when trouble struck him, he could say, I know my Redeemer liveth, and at the last days he'll stand on the earth. Though the skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh I'll see God. Though he slay me, yet I'll trust him. For he thought on his ways that God was a present help in the time of trouble. And as Moses began to think on his ways, I'm a murderer, I'm a coward. God called me to be a preacher. I was born to peculiar birth. I was hid in the bulrushes. I'll never forget my mother's story when she told me that God had called me. I had the message in my heart. But I got so much theology in me while I tried to do it my own way. But still there's a God somewhere. He had never spared my life. While he was thinking on his ways, he happened to look sideways, and there was a burning bush to answer him. God have mercy. There's a burning. Some of you women ought to be home with your kids, reading the Bible to them. You got a job out here to make an extra dollar. Shame on you. God give you a job that's raised them children. Teach them the things of God. It's the truth. Think on your ways, woman. What will them dollars do? They'll ring like Judas's carrots did. Think on your ways and turn your foot to his testimonies, unto his blood, unto his grace, unto his offer. What about you know-it-all? You men and women that thinks you're smarter than somebody else. Did you know God made the gospel so plain that even a fool shouldn't err? Think on your ways. Think about Jesus Christ, who was called a crazy man to bring this message of salvation to you. Think of the apostles that sealed their testimony and come out of all kinds of big churches and was called heretics. Are you better than they? No, never by a million miles. You're not better than they. Think on your ways and turn your feet to Calvary. It's the only remedy that God has for salvation is through Calvary. Only thing that He has. It was Peter. When he heard the rooster crow 3 times, that he thought on his ways. For Jesus Christ had told him that such a thing would happen. And when he seen the thing that Jesus promised come to pass, he thought on his ways. And he went out and wept bitterly. Think on your ways while you look and see what Jesus said. As it was in the days of Sodom, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. It was when the high priest counted out the 30 pieces of silver to Judas. When he heard the ringing of that silver, Judas thought on his ways, and he went and took a rope and hung himself. It was a Roman soldier that when he had stood there and seen the sun go down in the middle of the day, he saw the rocks ring out of the mountains. He heard one say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He had pressed his spear into his heart and seen the water and blood flow out. When he seen that, he began to think on his ways. And he fell on his face and screamed and said, truly, that is the Son of God. Began to think on his ways when he'd seen what he had done. Think of what you're doing. If you are a Christian, think the life you're living. Are you living above reproach? Are you doing the things that pleases God? Have your heart no condemnation. If you're a sinner, quiver under the power of God and come to the altar. If you're thinking on your ways while I've been preaching, if God has convicted you that you're wrong, Then I can tell you one thing. I can introduce you to something at here tonight.
Cast your bread upon the waters. After many days it shall return. If you pour out your soul, not part by the old, then new life wait for you. Then new life wait for you.